Hey everyone, it's Conditional here from vRealize Me. This is probably my second video, might be third video now, on the vRealize 7.4 custom forms. So it was probably one of the larger sort of feature releases in 7.4, and it's something that a lot of people have wanted for a long time. Now, previously we used to have to use XS forms, or before that ASD forms, the same thing, essentially just VRO forms that were surfaced up into VRA. They're not quite on par. There's still some things that one can do that the other can't. Dual lists is a good example. Is the custom forms don't support dual lists, but you could do that in an XS form. But anyway, they've got slight tweaks aside. What I wanted to do was just dive in and quickly show a simple one, and then work through actually creating a more complex one for existing items that I already had. So as you can see here, I've got my blueprints. Now what I want to do is I've got a fairly simple one here, a server deploy custom naming. Now if I go to my catalog item here and look for that one, there it is, we can see that this is the standard form that we'd have to click on here. It would load up, I'd select some things here and whatever. It's not great, and especially if you've got a more complex application. Let's say, for example, I do a PAS one here and I do NanoTrader, for instance. You've got all this down the side, all your software components, all your machines, and in some cases this one doesn't have it because I made it so, but you'd have to go through and click on everything that needed an input. So if I wanted to go and change the size of all these machines, I have to click on each one of them, change the size, click on the next one, etc., etc. It wasn't very user friendly, and that's why we used XS. So let's have a look at now taking that just simple one. So this is a single machine deploy with a host name, and that's it, with a custom host name. So we go, okay, let's we can either go to edit, or we can see the custom form icon up the top here. I'll go edit that, and you can activate and deactivate your custom form, so you can go to the old and the new, but for simple ones the custom form is great. So we've got everything here. Now we can actually generate the form and we'll actually put everything on there. It's a mess, I really wouldn't use it, but what we can do here is we can see we've got some general stuff here. We've got the properties and custom properties and everything that's been assigned to the machine itself. As you can see there, we can actually go and edit the blueprint here as well, and then we've got our generic elements that we can drag and drop up on there, up on the canvas here. So what I want to do is just have, very, very simple, is that it's showing us these mandatory ones that we need. So they're ones that have to be on the form. So I go, okay, well, let's go host name up front. So you can see host name, you can see it actually puts a little added there, so and grays it out, so you can't drag it on again. We can go right, look at this, yep, host name's fine, I'll leave it as that name. We can change the name of it if we want. We can go to no values, constraints, required, yes, great. Image, select that over, awesome. So that's going to be a drop down, and that's going to have our values in there, our value set that's already been set up. And do I need anything else there? And size. So this is going to look pretty plain, but let's look if we can do a couple extra things here. Let's I don't even know what these will look like, but if I look at an image, display type, value, so let's have a look at this, if I can remember my name here, HTTP. So there you go, that'll do. Hopefully this works. Hey. Okay, so it splits that. Let's have a look what that looks like. I don't think it's going to look that well. Let's activate custom form and we'll finish that. So now we go back to the catalog, as custom form, and we can see the custom form is going to come up in the new Clarity UI. Infrastructure service, yeah, host name, demo. We can have our drop downs, CentOS, small, cool, submit. So, you know, that's a basic one. We can see the big difference there from, you know, this nicer form that looks, you know, it's very simple, very minimalistic. You know, the image isn't probably great, but, you know, you can get some ideas of what you can start to do. And then if we go back to our deploy naming there and go deactivate, go back to our catalog. Where is it? There it is. And it's back to our old one. So we can go right, cancel that, and I can go and edit that. And I'll also show what you can do is that it's all exportable and importable. Now, a custom form is a one-to-one relationship with a blueprint, but you can, if you want the same one for multiple items, you can actually export and import. So we can go here and we can import the form. We can export as YAML. We can even use CSS. Now, I'm not really a CSS guy. I'm not really a website designer, but you can use CSS and you can actually do different fonts and all the cool stuff. So you could probably make it really, really nice if you wanted to. So that's it for a very simple one. Now what I'm going to do is, we'll finish that off, is go and do a more complex one. So in this case, let's look at this one. Now, again, for a multi-tiered blueprint, these make sense, especially when you've got, for example, you got a custom property on every single one of your machines in the blueprint. You could have, a web tier, a database tier, and an app tier, and you've got custom properties on each one of them. Now, one of the common complaints I've had is that they have to fill in those for every single machine. Where this way you can actually do a bind and you can say this value is bound to this. So you can actually have it drop down once and it fills it in for everything else. Awesome. I'm not going to cover that in this one. That's just a very basic thing, but let's do it. So what I want to do is make it very similar to a list that I've got here. So if I look at this one and go as and go create machines. Now I want it to be very similar to this XAS form with a drop down, and it goes off and uses external values. So what we need to do is I go, okay, well, I need a project, so I need the project code. So in do is this is essentially the XAS doing it. So what I want to do is I want to go, okay, well, I want to do that. This action here. And let's do drop down. And I want this to be project name. Oh, not project name, just project would do. Drop down, yes. Visibility, yep. I want values, so I want predefined values. So I want external source here, and I want that action. Now it's going to go out and find all the actions that meet that requirement. And now it wants these inputs. So I want account name. Now that's the person requesting, so I want requested for in there, and etcd instance. So I don't have anything with this at the moment, but what you can do, and it's not great, but you can have a hidden tab. So I can create a tab up here and just call it, you know, hidden variables. Yeah, hidden. And I'm going to set the visibility to no. Now what I want in here is etcd. So etcd is a key value store. Now I use that to store a lot of metadata for a lot of my provisioning. Makes it really fast, really helpful, all the rest of it. And I want the ability to have a production one and development one, so I don't mess up the data, etc. So in this, I'm going to call this label etcd, and I'm going to give it a value of production, because that's where I want my values to come from, my production instance. Now with this project here and values, no default value, is I want that value production. So there's our etcd one there. So there, great. I'll save that, continue. Now one thing I really wish you could do in this is to be able to test the form out without having to go out and publish it and all the rest of it. So okay, we've got our project. Now I've actually got another hidden one that I need. So I'm just gonna, what it's gonna do is grab back a JSON string that I'm gonna use. So I can go, okay, I want to do project. And I want that project to be external. And so I'm pretty much going through the same actions that I'm using here, and I want this get project as JSON. Put that in there. We'll find that one, and I need display name, which will be the project, and I need my etcd instance again. Cool. So that's working, hopefully. So we go, okay, they're all hidden. Now let's look at what else I need. I need my project code and project name. So these are just going to be read only, just, you know, great for the user to have. So within here, I don't think I've got, yep. So I actually need the project code, which is going to be this custom property here. So I want to assign that project code to that custom property, and I don't want that. I want it to be, you know, project code. And visibility, I want it to be conditional value, and I want to set it to yes if project does not equal nothing, and then I'll do no if project equals nothing. Now I found if you only do one, it won't refresh, and then I needed the two here for it to actually work properly. So if we look at our values, the default value, I want that to be external again. So I'm calling an action, and the action in this instance will be get project code. Oh. Now it gets them from all the, these are all the different namespaces. Now I need this bottom one. Now I've got a slight issue at the moment. Now I'm pretty sure this is a bug and I need to raise it. But if we look at our action, it's in the right namespace there. So it's virtual machines request form project management. Great. Now if I save that, then I go back, you can see it's in a different namespace. Now these two do the same thing, but I'm just worried that it can't handle actions that have got multiple names. Like it's doing a match on name and picking the wrong one. Not sure why that is. I'm just lucky the two actions do basically the same thing in this instance. But we'll sort that out eventually, hopefully. There's a project code, and we need the field, the project. I want to put in that. Oh, that. Cool. And then I want project name. Now that's just a nothing one. I don't need it, it's just for the person. Now visibility, I want to be conditional. I want to be if project equals and cool. So I want to save that. Oh. Alright, so that's been activated. I'll actually publish this one. We'll just go and go to the catalog items. Create. I'll just put this one in testing. Go to my catalog. That's it, yeah, request. So I want to see what this is going to do. Alright. So yeah, it's saying EPM value. Alright. Project. Alright, cool. Now, the get project code. Needs to be fixed. So what I can do here is, because anyway, oh no, just cancel. Project code. So what I'll do is I'll change this. Alright. Yeah, hopefully, if that works, we should get rid of that. Saves me having so many of those at the same name. They're doing the same thing, basically. Okay, we'll cancel that. Let's go back in. Sweet, no error, work like a treat. Now I can select this here and we'll get the project code back and it's rerunning that. So, cool, now I need the project name. So let's go back out, design, edit. Alright. So we fix that error, it's great. Now we go back to the project name here, so we'll get project name, yeah, cool. So what I'm also going to do with the project code is I'm going to make it read only, meaning that they can't change it, otherwise you could actually delete it and change it. And project name, I want to make read only as well, and values, we're going to have it as external. Get project name, I have a bunch of them, request forms, that's the one I want. And project is, we want this one here. Alright. So that, and I want cost. So, yeah, right, let's store text field. We want current funds. Oop. Now, bear in mind, I had all these actions created previously that I've used, and I'll go, okay, we want read only as well, yes. Values, we want to be external, and we want get funds. Yeah, I actually created an action for that. I forgot what it was. Get project funds. That's it. There it is. Needs the project code. So I'm going to feed in the project code. Sweet. Save. Now, I should be able to open this other one. Let's cancel this one. And go to testing. Oh, I haven't hidden that yet, so I better do a conditional hide. Okay, get project name. So that's having the same problem. Which is fine. Project request forms, get project name. So what we'll do is we'll go back to here. Request forms, project name, and we essentially put the same logic in. So I can go if not project and we go return nothing else. cancel that. Alright, that should fix the problem. Let's go back. What I'll do is I'll cancel that. Go back into here, go current funds, we want to visibility, conditional, we want to make it yes if project not equal nothing, and add another one in there, say no if project equals. Alright, save that. This is where multiple tabs does make things a lot easier, and we load this up. Cool, no errors, which is awesome. Choose that. Now hopefully it should get that, then the other two should fill in. Yeah, there you go. So that's working just as it should be. And go cancel that. Go back to here. Now I am curious to know if we can make this wider. Probably what we need CSS for, that's alright. Constraints. So I do want this to be required. Save that. Alright, awesome. So that's our first one. Now I want my second tab. We can have requests like number of machines, lease days, those sort of things. So we go, okay, sweet, that should be easy. So that was actually called requests, so let's stick with the same thing here. I don't want to go into design for that one, I'm already in here. We add another tab, we call it requests. And in here, we've got some general ones up here. So I want lease days in there, it's awesome. In here we'd want to go, okay, well we want to have constraints because we want a minimum of 1, and maybe we only want them to put 90 days maximum lease as an example. And we want that to be required, as in yes. Number of deployments, how many of these do we want? So again, on this too, sorry, we should put a default value in there, so we'll put in 1. This one we want values, default value 1, and constraints maximum value 100. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Number of deployments, that's fine. Alright, and that'll do for that one. Now to move on, and I want some machines, I want some FQDNs and the rest of it, so I go okay. Go back to here, we can add another tab. We can go machines. In here, I want domain FQDN, which is a custom value on the machine that's already picked that up. Now in here, let's have a look at a couple more of the other values. We can bind to a field, so we can say, yep, I want it to equal this value. So if you've already got something that's been selected and you might need to have or populate more of them, you can hide them and bind them to a single one. It's really good. We've got a computed value, which means that we can add values together and it computes them. from a field, so we could like make a server FQDN, for example, which is pretty good. And yeah, conditional. Again, this is what we're saying. We can only set a value here. It's like a free text value, freehand value, and it's if a certain value equals another. So there's no way I can say here, like, which I really love, is to say, you know, if I want to run an action, if, you know, project code does not equal nothing, or something like that. But again, you know, that's got to work with what we got. So FQDN domain, that's what we want to grab. So I had already created one previously to go and grab that, I think. Oh no, I didn't. That's right. So I wanted to get ordered domain names. That's cool, I can remember that. External source, get ordered. There it is. etcd instance, user, which is the requested for user, and platform name. I don't have one of them yet, so I'm like, okay, no worries. Let's put, you know, a platform name. This is a vSphere instance as an example. That's just something that I have here because I've got XAs that deal with multiple platforms. So I want to be able to, you know, choose the platform, and that platform can then be, you know, a project can or can't go onto a certain platform. So we'll just do platform, and we'll give it a value called vSphere. So I need to feed that vSphere value in. Again, you go to machines, here, values, default values, and I want it on platform. Alright, cool. Let's save that. And actually, I want to change that. So we go, I'll just put that as domain. Then we want to have let's just do a description. So let's put that over there. That's just your standard free text description of your deployment. Machine type, image type, operating system, cool. So in this one we'll go, where is it? Okay, I don't actually have them there, so I need to create them. I don't want a text area. It's alright, I can change that here, text field, and I want the value to be this one. I'll actually make it, a drop down, and I want this one to be machine type. Now what I'm going to do here, just for something different, is go options constant. So in here we can do machine type, so I can go, you know, I want it to be server, and I want the value to be server, and then I want workstation, and I want the value to be workstation. And that will do, and that should give me a drop down of 2. And I want this to be required, and I want this to be, what's it called? Image type, machine type. Cool. Then I want another text field, and this one's going to be image type. So again, default is standard. So actually that's what I'll do, is on this machine type, in the values we'll set default, and I want it to be server. Then we go here, we go image type, be a drop down. Values, default value, I want it to be standard. But here let's go standard, and you can have, you know, like test. Yep. Cool. That's got to be required as well. And let's have a look at what was next, was the operating system image. So this one's pretty easy because I've already got the image types here, which is a vSphere profile, and that all just comes through it. Then instead of image, we can say, you know, OS type as a drop down. Alright, I'm going to save that, and let's have a look at it. Let's see what it's looking like. We can go create vSphere image here. Load it up, and this is the most time consuming part, is actually testing iteratively all of it. Cool. So I can choose my demo. I'm just choosing this one to be consistent, but all of them should. Alright, cool. Requests, 1-on-1, machines, domain name. There's my server workstation, there's my standard tests, and there's my OS type. Awesome. That's working really well. The domain isn't a drop down though. Let's fix that, because I've only got one domain in my lab, but you know, many organizations have more. So I want to drop down. And, which means I need to change this. Get order domain names, we'll clear that. Default value. I don't want anything in the default value, I want someone to actually select it. But I want this etcd instance. etcd user is requested for, and platform name is platform name. Save. Alright. So now, go back and give that a test. Yep, sweet. Alright, so let's move on to the next. So hardware, number of CPUs, memory. So that should be a fairly easy one, because what we'll do is we'll just go to here, we add another tab, we call it hardware. We add memory, we add CPUs. Now if you had the profile for the small medium t-shirt sizing, you just throw that in there. And it'll work. In this one though, we want to obviously yep, okay. And then we move on, we'll save that. Save successfully. Then we'll do application. So application, cool. So we do here application. Here I've got this one, and this one. So they're the pure names of my custom properties, but application, I want that to be a drop down, and I would want get all applications. Cool. Here's one I created earlier. That's default value nothing, external source, get all applications, there, etcd instance, that constraint must be required, yes. We look at the role, same thing, we want it to be drop down, we want it to be required, and our values will be external source, get all roles. Oh, there you go, etcd instance again. Cool. Oh, and most importantly, change the name of it. And this one, environment. Drop down values. We want get all environments by domain. Now I want to put in a etcd instance and the fqdn, which is the domain. Okay, and that is required, yes. Awesome. So look, let's quickly test that, and it's the most annoying part of it. Let's choose a different one. They should all just work. Yep. Requests, machines, domain. I need to make that a application. Yep. Role, environment. Alright, great. Working like a charm. Alright, so we'll cancel that. Then we've got, just going off copying this one, availability. So I'm actually going to skip availability in this one because it's vSphere and it's not public cloud. So if you can watch my other video that actually shows it all up and running, let's go to storage and networking because they're a little bit more interesting. So we can go right. Let's go to storage. Yep. And I want a checkbox up here. And I want to say configure additional storage values. We'll go default value is no. Constraints, it's not required. Then what I want is disks. So I want to use visibility. We'll go conditional value. We'll go set to no if what's it called? Configure additional storage equals no. But I want to set to yes if conditional storage equals yes. Alright. Save that. While I'm here, let's do the networking. And I want to add in Nix. Oh, and a checkbox. Alright, so this checkbox, we can configure. Values, default value is no. This one here, we want conditional visibility. We want to set it to no if configure additional next equals no. yes if regular additional equals yes. Cool. Save. Alright, let's have a quick look at that. Cool. Requests, machines, domain, hardware, application, storage. Oh yeah. I'm gonna add additional storage. I won't do that this time. Networking, configure additional NICs. Cancel. I'll do. And cancel. Alright. Cool. So that is pretty much it. What I'll do is additional request info, but yeah, let's just and we can have a text field here. Call it request number. We can have values. No default value in there. We can actually put in a regular expression if we want. I'll just copy that one so I don't have to rewrite it. Okay, invalid request number. And maybe text field, we'll say cost code. And that can be entered if it needs to. And go finish. And that is our new form. So let's run through it and actually submit. $2. Oh. Domain, location, storage, not requests. Let's see if this works. Oh, invalid request number. Alright, cool. REQ. Sweet. So that works. Submit. Away it goes. Alright. So hopefully that's given you a bit of a look-see as in a very simple one to a fairly complex one. Now obviously you wouldn't want to create that for every single one, so what you do is you export as YAML. You can cut and paste things together, and obviously if you're proficient in CSS CSS, you can obviously make it look a lot more pretty than I just did. I was just using complete out of the box configurations. But I hope you enjoyed, hope you got something out of it, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.